My name is Adam Blender. This is my 2018 Audi RS3. It's a Stage 2 E85 build. Currently it's full bolt-on. I have an intercooler, a downpipe, a midpipe, an intake, a turbo inlet, among many, many other modifications, but those are primarily the power mods.
All right, you guys, what is going on? You're watching Roads Untraveled once again, and we have teamed up today for a very special episode. And we have teamed up with Van City Audi and Adam, who runs Van City Audi, and we are going to take a little bit of a ride in his drag-prepped Audi RS3. Now, up until this point, Audi hasn't really brought many of the RS models to North America. It was pretty much a European exclusive lineup, with a few exceptions. Obviously the RS4, God, one of my favorite Audis, with the V8, was offered for a couple of years in the mid-2000s here, as well as obviously you can get the RS5 and RS7 now. But they recently brought in the RS3, and the reason why this is such a great car is because it's a small car. I love the RS7. I think, I've never driven one, but I think that's my favorite executive European sedan, just by sheer looks and like the V8 and everything, out of any sedan. I love that car, but it's so big. It's so incredibly big. Whereas this RS3 is just a little bit smaller, a little bit tighter, and it has a 5-cylinder turbocharged engine under the hood. And all-wheel drive, obviously. As you can see in the front there, it says Quattro, which is one of the distinguishing little exterior accents that separates this from the S3, right? The main thing with this car is it is set up for drag racing. So as you can see, my seating position is totally messed up today. It kind of sucks, but it's fine. I can deal with it, right? It's a fixed seat.
So currently the experience with the RS3 has been one of many, many ups and downs. It has been a challenge to say the least, but also one of the most enjoyable things that I've done in my life. I drag race the car as much as humanly possible. I've come across some very interesting individuals that have been huge fans of the cars, other people that don't like it quite as much. They kind of get pissed off that the little guy with the 5-cylinder motor is taking down these massive supercharged V8s. It's been a great experience. The experience I speak of that hasn't been so good is after owning the car for about a year, I managed to bend the rod in my 3rd cylinder. And by doing that, I had to actually have the motor rebuilt. So in order to do that, we stripped out the motor, shipped it to IROS Motorsport down in Las Vegas. They rebuilt it, built it all out with forged internals, shipped it back to me. We put it all back together, and I've been drag racing ever since. I bag on this thing as much as humanly possible, but at the same time, I use it as my daily driver.
First things first, I have not been in a brand new Audi. I've never driven a brand new Audi yet, unfortunately, till today. This interior is great, and the virtual cockpit on this RS3 is phenomenal. I love what Audi's done here. I especially love little things like the screen up on the dash here, which can be raised and lowered when you need to. So it's not just stuck on the dash all the time, making it look terrible. This is a very clean dash when you want it to be, and you can customize the virtual cockpit however you'd like. Very clean, simple gauge setup on the left side here. You've got your ethanol content. We're running about E65 or E63 right now. Ethanol content blend. Oh, 430. Nice. I'm going to try to catch that Ferrari. That's my goal. So a 5-cylinder engine. This is my first time driving a car with a 5-cylinder engine, straight up. Obviously a lot of older Audis and Some of the Audi Cup cars and rally cars, race cars have 5-cylinder engines. That's kind of what they're famous for. Lots of boost. Hold on 1 minute. Whoa, that's way faster than I should be going. 18 kilometers an hour, and without even trying. The spool on this engine is, I mean, this has been tuned wonderfully. I mean, again, I don't have a stock RS3 to this comparison to make for you guys today, but like, I feel like there should be way more turbo lag, but there's just not. It's a very smooth and progressive, torquey engine. You know, for a daily driver, a lot of things on this car are not ideal. The seat's obviously the biggest, but the power band really suits a daily driver kind of style, even with the added power. It's kind of, you know, it's very progressive, it's smooth, and of course you have Audi's dual clutch. So for the drag strip, someone goes to shift gears, whoever you're racing, you're just gone. The second they put that clutch in and the torque dips, you are absolutely gone. But just honestly savage turbo power. This is the definition of a savage turbocharged engine right here. Oh yeah, it's pretty gnarly. It's pretty gnarly. It's way faster than I thought it was gonna be. Way faster, to be completely honest.
So currently the car sits at 516 wheel horse and 522 pounds-foot. I just dynoed that, I believe it was last week. For parts-wise, it's an IROS intercooler, downpipe, and midpipe, an integrated engineering cold air intake, a Unitronic 4-inch turbo inlet. I also run E60 to E70, that's a blend of ethanol with pump gas. On stock injectors or OEM injectors on these cars, they're good for about up to E70. I work with custom code currently on the ECU and TCU tune. And on the factory side of things, the car itself has very, very little left that is still factory. It has different springs. As you can see, the wheels and tires are different. To lessen the rotational mass for the drag strip, I actually changed my front and rear brakes as well. I have base model Golf brakes on the front and base model A3 brakes on the back. As it sits right now, I'm trying to go as fast as I can in the quarter mile in a stock turbo. The goal this season is to be the world's fastest stock turbo RS3. I currently sit at a 10.2 at 133. On our ranking board, for lack of a better word, I'm about 10th right now in the world. So still have a ways to go. For those that are really into drag racing, those few tenths and few miles an hour are a huge deal and very hard to get past, but that's the goal. In the future, I would like to do a hybrid turbo, a big turbo, upgrade it even further. I want to go as fast as I can in this car.
Adam has downsized the brakes in this car. He's put on smaller brakes. I mean, I'm driving an RS3 with stock Golf brakes, so it's kind of frightening. Just don't brake heavily. You know, on a drag strip, you have a lot of room to play with when you're braking, so it doesn't matter so much. So out here, we're just gonna take a little easy on the brakes. So for the factory, this car weighs just over 3,500 pounds, depending on options, a little bit closer to 3,600 pounds. And I believe Adam said he's got it down to 3,250 or thereabouts. You know, that is phenomenal. That is a lot of weight savings. As you can see, there is nothing in the trunk. He's got a lightweight battery, a tiny battery back there. And these seats are all aluminum, very light seats as well. So it's much lighter than a stock RS3. Second gear from 3,000 RPM here. Wow, that is crazy. Yeah, this virtual cockpit's great. So basically, as you come up in the revs, I don't know if you guys can see this, but effectively what happens is it goes yellow, and then red when it's red line, and it flashes just like a rev counter on an F1 car or a Ferrari on the top of the steering wheel would kind of flash when it's like the last moment to shift. The Audi does the same. Very light steering, very direct. Obviously this has Audi's Quattro all-wheel drive system. And all the Haldex all-wheel drive cars I've driven, a bunch of Golf Rs and whatnot, a TT and stuff, it's really held its own. You don't really feel the front-wheel drive bias as much as you would think. Yes, the weight bias is another story. This definitely is front bias in terms of weight. Here we go, we'll give it the beans here. Yeah, those aren't not the greatest brakes. Adam, this thing is a monster. This thing is an absolute just riot. It's so loud, I cannot imagine what this sounds like from the outside. Banshee's screaming.
So my favorite thing about the car, as is most people with these RS3s, is the motor. It is truly an amazing thing. 2.5 liter, 5-cylinder motor that came to us from the factory at 400 crank horsepower. I have only put bolt-ons, changed the fuel type, and I'm at over 500 wheel. The possibilities, the capabilities of this motor are amazing. The guys that are strapping big turbos now are over 1,000 wheel horsepower out of these motors. Yes, they have built internals. Don't think for a second they're doing that on a stock block. These are built motors that can handle that much. Now, at that power level, things go wrong, but that is by far the best part of this vehicle, and I can't wait to keep pushing it and see how much power I can get out of this thing. So Van City Audi has been a passion of mine for about 6 months now. Friends of mine last year were really wowed at what I was doing on the racetrack in my car. They had no idea that a four-door sports sedan could run low 11s with a simple tune and no other modifications. So I then took it upon myself to really see what this thing can do when pushed all out. And if I'm going to be racing, I might as well do the extra little bit of recording it all and putting it on YouTube to hopefully entertain everybody, and in the case that I have information that I'm able to share, help the people that are in need. For people challenging me, I encourage it because I'm not a guy that needs to win all the time. I'm more about the passion for drag racing. I think it is a blast to be in control of something so unbelievably fast and powerful, and you're the one controlling it. You're the one going down the street, or not the street, the drag strip. The drag strip's a controlled area in which you know you can go as fast as you want safely. You're not worried about the cops pulling you over. You're not worried about your car being impounded. It's just a blast, and anyone that wants to challenge me to come out, I highly recommend it. It's a great time. You can destroy me, and I will love the fact that you're blowing by me at the speed you're blowing by me. Or I very well may destroy you, and I'll say, hey, it was a good race. Thanks for coming out, and I hope you had a blast while you were doing it.
I think the RS3 looks great. It's an awesome, aggressive looking car. And even though Adam says this car is not built for cornering, it still drives nice in the corners. It still feels very planted. And when you build a car with a distinct purpose, I feel like you get a lot more of what you wanted out of it. And it's not just kind of like, oh, I'm just gonna keep sticking parts and the car's just going to get better. Just overall, it's just gonna get better. I feel like with a set goal like this, it just creates a better and more satisfying build for whoever's building it, the owner, right? And I'm definitely seeing that with Adam. I mean, he is stoked on this car. He's got a YouTube channel you guys should definitely check out. It's definitely far and away much faster in a straight line than the V10, the first gen R8 V10 I drove. Albeit that had a gated manual. Praise the heavens for that car. But I definitely think this would put up a fight against a lot of, we'll call it a supercar killer, okay? It's like almost as good as PDK It's just about as good as PDK. And I literally got out of a GT3 RS yesterday. And that's like the pinnacle of dual clutches, or at least that I've driven.
So along the way, I've had the chance to work with a lot of incredible people, mainly Ryder Performance out in Abbotsford, BC. He has been a godsend. He has helped me with all my mechanical needs. He's dealt with my BS and asking him question after question after question on the things that I don't understand in ways so I can understand the vehicle better and get the best bang for my buck out of it. When Hank Iroz from Iroz Motorsport, who produces a lot of the hardware on my car, found out that my mechanic had the motor back in the car and running within 24 hours of receiving the motor back from Las Vegas, he told me never let go of that mechanic. That is hard to come by. That has been a true blessing. Everybody that works with me at the racetrack, Wheels YouTube channel, you guys are wicked. You're providing me footage I didn't even have to ask for, and you're an outstanding individual for commenting on my channel and saying how much you enjoy it and for providing me that footage to make it even better. Also wanted to thank you guys, Marcus and Grayson, for doing this for me. I'm just getting started. It's just started to become something that I'm really focused on this year. You guys are experienced veterans in the game, and I really appreciate you taking the time to spend the time in my car, with my car, Marcus being able to drive it. Obviously, I haven't heard his impressions other than, holy crap, it's fast. So I look forward to seeing the video come out. You guys are wicked, and I really appreciate all the time you've spent in getting together with me to showcase not only my car, but my YouTube channel, Van City Audi.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever experienced a small 2.5 liter engine or a small displacement engine like this put on boost so quickly. I'm not kidding you guys, this is probably the quickest spooling 500 horsepower I've ever felt in my entire life. It is that, like, it's so snappy. Which is funny because usually drag cars are the opposite. Usually drag cars are just like lag, 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 go, because you have anti-lag when you launch, etc., etc. You have flat foot shifting. You're never out of boost once you're actually on the strip, so it doesn't matter on the street when you're out of boost. And most drag cars don't even see the street, right? You trailer them around. But with this car, it seems to have like everything except for comfortable seats and sound deadening, you know? All right, you guys, so that is the video. Hope you enjoyed it. I know I had a bunch of fun behind the wheel of Adam's Audi RS3. And before we let you go, just thought I'd inform you of some good news. After we filmed this video, Adam has actually broken a record. Now, it's not quite the record he was hoping for, but he ran a 9.97 second quarter mile at 137.42 miles an hour. And as far as he knows, that is the world's fastest customer-owned stock turbo Audi RS3 in the world. So congratulations, Adam. If you're interested in drag racing whatsoever, I highly recommend checking out Adam's channel. And if you haven't been drag racing, I know a lot of you guys like to crap on drag racing a little bit because it's not circuit racing, it's not drifting, etc. But until you try it, you don't know what you're missing. I'm a big fan of all three of those motorsport disciplines, and Adam's definitely kind of, you know, pushing it forward, especially here in the Lower Mainland. So check out his channel. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time.